A water fight on the streets of Barcelona. Some locals spraying tourists with water guns as they ate at popular restaurants, sending visitors fleeing from their tables.
How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about the anti-tourist protests in Barcelona, Spain. Now, this is really interesting. There's quite a few issues happening in Spain and the European Union, aside from the tourists and the Airbnbs and the ugly Americans or whatever else you want to say. Passport bros, they could be in this as well. There's quite a few more things going on. You see, we had a couple articles right here on the screen. Irregular migrant arrivals almost double in Spain in 2023. Now, I don't know if that's going to be just in Canary Islands where you got a problem, and the city of Ceuta, however you pronounce that, which is an autonomous city that is located basically on a landmass of Africa, right in the north of Morocco. I'm not quite sure if it's that or if it's in Spain proper, but there are some issues. You see what's happening right here as well. Spain's Canary Islands overwhelmed by migrant arrivals, and that's from just last month, May 2024. So we got some issues going on with people from the outside coming in, but also from the tourists. Now, before I go any further, let's get into the actual news clip here. And of course, I will link to everything in the description. But without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
A water fight on the streets of Barcelona. Some locals spraying tourists with water guns as they ate at popular restaurants, sending visitors fleeing from their tables.
Now, I got a question. If you are in the midst of this protest, you getting sprayed by water guns, what are you going to do? Would you want to come back to Barcelona? Would you want to come back to Spain if that's happening to you? Now, if that's me and that's how I'm greeted, that's how I'm treated, here giving you my hard-earned money. It's not cheap to travel around this world, to have a hotel, to buy food. I'm contributing to your economy. So if I'm being treated like that, I will never return. Maybe that's the objective of these people. Let's check it out and see what's really happening.
Thousands of protesters walking through the city over the weekend, chanting "Tourists go home" and carrying signs with anti-tourist slogans.
Restoration and hotels is the group that makes really big money, but all the people are in a very poor situation and they don't have enough money to live. That's a problem.
Barcelona is one of the top tourist destinations in the world, home to iconic sites like La Sagrada Familia and Park Güell, in addition to beautiful beaches. Officials reporting more than 33 million people from all over the world visited the city in the first 5 months of 2024 alone. Tourism bringing in a whopping 9.6 billion euro in 2023, according to the Tourism Observatory of Barcelona.
That's quite a big amount of money. Now, is that just Barcelona? That's quite a bit of money for just one place in Spain.
Observatory.
Even if it was Spain altogether, that's still quite a bit of money. But I'm sure over the whole country, it's a lot more.
Of Barcelona. But some locals say mass tourism is not only overwhelming the city, but also making the cost of living unaffordable to its residents.
I would stress the declining quality of life for local residents, and that would include the increasing cost of housing, the noise, the litter, the displacement of long-term residents, and the relentless construction.
You know, that's the thing that happens. It's kind of a double-edged sword. You rely on the tourism for money. Without tourism, you're going to have problems because people are going to struggle financially. But with tourism, people may have more money, but they also struggle financially because now you have a higher cost of living due to the influx of the tourists. So double-edged sword for sure.
Rent in Barcelona has risen nearly 70% in just the last decade, according to Mayor Jaume Collboni. In June, the mayor announcing a plan to stop renewing permits for rentals used by foreign visitors by 2028, after saying a boom in short-term rentals is to blame. The city assuring the move would make 10,000 units available to locals in 4 years.
The last years, the city has turned completely for tourists, and what we want is a city for citizens and not in service of tourists.
a dilemma for a welcoming city to shift focus and take care of its own.
Now, the thing is, what is the industry of Barcelona? I mean, y'all got to pardon my ignorance. I don't really know about Barcelona's, their economy. Like, what's the actual industry there? It kind of reminds me of what's happening in the U.S., where you have certain places that are like a DC, for example, very rich place. But what's the actual industry? There is no industry. It's the federal government. So without the federal government, they are going to collapse. So, of course, people in D.C. are going to fight for big government because that's what's keeping them afloat. Now, Barcelona, what is your industry? What did you fight for? You're anti-tourist because you see the effects of it. But what are you going to do to replace that income if the tourists all of a sudden are not there or there's not as many of them? What are you going to do as a result of that?
Guad Venegas joins us tonight from the Telemundo Center in Miami. So, Guad, people visiting Barcelona or planning to visit Barcelona in the months ahead, could they expect to see more of these protests and possibly be hit by these water guns?
Well, Tom, for the people that were at those establishments, it was at the wrong place at the wrong time, right? I mean, there's a lot of visitors in Barcelona. It's just unfortunate that they were right there when the protesters came. But this is a sign of that anti-tourism sentiment in Barcelona, which we expect to continue. It's not only the protests. There's also signs around the city that are asking tourists to go home. Now, the city has already approved increasing the tourist tax from 3.25 euro to 4 euro. That's a small increase. But again, it's another.
Do you see this? See, look, didn't I talk about it earlier? Tourists go home, refugees welcome. Now, how can the refugees help you? What are you going to have them doing? How are they going to contribute to the industry of Barcelona and to the European Union or just Europe, the region, even though states not in the EU? How can they contribute to that versus the tourists? It's weird. So you rather have the refugees than the tourists. Okay. Well, look, it's an old saying, be careful what you wish for. You just might get it.
Another sign that Barcelona wants to limit the people that are coming into the city. And in the future, what we can expect is Barcelona to be.
And they have something that I've seen a couple times here. Carteristas, welcome. What is a carterista? I know you guys speak Spanish in the comments. Y'all let me know what that is. Give me a translation.
Future, what we can expect is Barcelona to become a much more expensive destination for the tourists that do decide to go. And things are going to change, Tom. A lot of the people that visit this city do it because it's known to be a welcoming city with vibes from people that come from all over the world. That perhaps will change as local officials make these new changes to make it much more difficult for those that want to visit and more affordable for the people that live in Barcelona. So all of this should be kept in mind when someone is planning to go to the city, Tom.
And this also happened in Mexico City, if I'm not mistaken. You got a lot of digital nomads and whatnot. A lot of Americans going to Mexico City from places like California, a lot of West Coast places. And they don't like the tourists there either. They say, man, you guys got to go. You making you ugly Americans littering, stinking, driving the price of local living up. Same thing happening Hawaii. Same thing happening Puerto Rico to a certain extent, but not really. As I close, I want to say this. Shout out to Barcelona. Shout out to Spain. I guess you guys have picked what you want to do with. The refugees, come on in. From wherever you want to be in the world, you can have all kind of illnesses, all kind of crazy habits. Doesn't really matter. Come on in. It's all good. We're going to take care of you. Although you have no skills, no industry, no nothing. You're just over here. You might not even speak Spanish. It's totally fine. Come on. Tourists, hey, man, you guys are causing the problem because now we can't afford to live. I don't know. I think ultimately, as I close for real, they got to figure out a way to just have more industry. There would not be so many tourists in Barcelona, and there wouldn't be such an effort to cater to them if their income was not needed, at least in my humble opinion. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? What's your take on what's happening here with Spain, with Barcelona, and the anti-tourist sentiment, but the pro-refugee sentiment? If you can make any kind of sense of that, y'all let me know in the comments. You guys know where I'm at. Obviously, what's happening here is people of the city are trying to figure out a way to live better. And maybe the scapegoat is a tourist. Now, I'm not trying to say the tourists don't have a hand in prices going up and rents going up and some of the ugly American or ugly, foreigner activities. I'm not trying to say that. But at the same time, I think maybe a greater focus should be on how can we build ourselves up? How can we build industry here to be self-sufficient and not be relying upon the tourist money or the refugees to come in and do some of the day laboring things that maybe the regular citizens don't want to do, or maybe because they can't do it because of declining birth rates in Europe. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.